Good afternoon and welcome to Williams Dog Training Company. We're here today with Fred and Molly, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today on video is Molly's ability to understand and respond to her obedience commands, the corrections and motivations that we use while we're working with her, and the training equipment that we're using. Fred is using a regular 6-foot training leash, and he's going to keep the bulk of that leash folded neatly in his right hand, which then leaves his left hand free to give the correction. And the correction that we give is a tug and release on the training collar, which is the second piece of equipment that we're using. And Molly's been fitted with her own personal training collar, and we will be sure to show you how to properly put that collar on and use it during your one-on-one lesson. Now, as you can see, Molly is seated very nicely on Fred's left-hand side, which is where all of our obedience training takes place. The first command that we're going to demonstrate for you is heeling, and heeling is simply proper walking on a leash. Fred and Molly take off doing that now, and the command that you're going to give is Molly heel. You're going to start walking, and then Molly should fall in line nicely, heeling appropriately on your left-hand side at about your left heel position. She should be keeping pace with you, whether you're walking at a faster pace or a slower pace. She should not be lagging behind on that leash, nor should she be lunging ahead and trying to pull on that leash. Also incorporated into our heeling exercise is an automatic sit. So anytime that you're out walking with Molly and you stop, she should automatically sit nicely right there at your left heel position. Good girl. And you'll see those automatic sits frequently throughout this instructional video here. Good girl. The next command they're going to demonstrate for you is the stay command, and the stay command is both a hand and a voice command. Use the open flat of your left palm an inch or so in front of her muzzle and the one-word command to stay, and then walk out to the end of the leash. Now Molly should remain seated in this position throughout the entire command and should not break. When you're practicing this command at home, you start at 1 minute, and you'll work your time increments working up to 3 minutes for your long sit-stay. Be sure to practice this command frequently throughout your day to help build up Molly's ability to sit-stay for longer periods of time. Fred's going to go ahead and return back by walking all the way around counterclockwise behind her as an added distraction, returning so that she is on his left-hand side. Great job. You saw Fred give Molly a little pat on the head there. It's very important to use lots of positive reinforcement to keep Molly motivated while working her through her commands. You can either use physical praise where you pet her, or verbal praise telling her she's doing a great job. We're demonstrating that sit-stay for you again. Open flat of your left palm in front of her muzzle and the command to stay out to the end of the leash. Now they're going to demonstrate the recall or the come on command. For this command, you're going to use Molly come. She should then come in and sit nicely right in front of you. Good girl. And then you heel her around the back of you, returning her to your left-hand side, where she should then sit nicely. Very nicely done. They're going to demonstrate that again. Leave her in a sit-stay, walk out to the end of the leash, give her a moment or two to hold that sit-stay, and then when you're ready, give her the command, Molly, come. Gather that leash in front of you, and as she comes in, making sure she sits. And heel her on the back of you, back to your left-hand side, where she's going to sit nicely. Very well executed. When Molly comes home, be sure that when you're practicing your commands with her, that you're practicing both indoors as well as outdoors to generalize in both areas, in both environments. You also want to pick an area at first with little to no distractions to get a better feel of working Molly through her commands. And then slowly you can start to incorporate the amount of distractions into your training sessions. Now this next command they're demonstrating is the first of our down commands, the down from a heel position. Use the open flat of your left palm again, but this time straight down towards the ground, and the one-word command to down. Then give the stay command and walk out to the end of the leash again. Another great command to practice frequently throughout your day to help build up Molly's ability to downstay for longer periods of time. And with this command, she should not break from the down position. When you're practicing this at home, start at about 3 minutes and work your increments up to about 5 minutes for her long down stay. Fred's going to return back. Lazy Daisy. Basking in the sunshine. Fred heels are out of that, and they will demonstrate that again. We also recommend that when Molly comes home, that you set aside about 10 to 15 minutes for the first 2 to 4 weeks that she's home every day to work her through her commands in a formal obedience session. You'll also be working her in her commands throughout the day and generalizing them. Freddy's on another down stay. And this time, instead of returning back, he will demonstrate the recall or the come on command from the down position where Molly has to get up to come in this time. You could hear Fred using lots of verbal praise with her, telling her she's a good girl. Now this next command that they'll be heeling into position to set up for is the second of our down commands, and that's the down from a distance. For the down from a distance, leave Molly in a sit-stay and walk out to the end of your training leash. And from the end of your training leash, use your right hand to give the down command. Good girl. What we are demonstrating for you now is a little bit of advanced off-leash training. If you follow through with Molly in her training with her leash and collar, this is something that you can work up to in the future, which is simply dropping the leash and increasing the amount of distance during your sit stays and your down stays. This can be accomplished in the future after she is completing all of her commands through the use of the leash and the collar 100% of the time for you. We've demonstrated for you today all the obedience commands that Molly has learned here at school. It's been a pleasure working with Molly, and we thank you again for choosing Williams Dog Training Company as your personal dog trainer.